Hey y'all, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You know what it is, what we do. We make sure that the black community here on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook knows those that you need to know. And this brother right here is a brother you need to know. Now, you may know his name because you've heard it before in some other context, but you haven't heard the real Charlemagne until you heard this brother who has been sacrificing for our country, has been a great stand up father and grandpa. So, welcome to the show, Charlemagne Mccarter. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and what you do currently here online?
Man, I was waiting for somebody else to come out, with an introduction, man. But I appreciate those good words. Um, Basically, man, I'm a vet. Well, let me back up. I was a father first. Father first. Early, started when I was 15. Actually, that's how I ended up in the military. Actually, just uh, being a young father, man, no direction. Took the military route, jumped in, stayed in, did 6 year bid up in there. Out, got it in school, tried a school thing, got government contract, and very successful with that. Um, Pushing forward, I was like, the community need help. I started coaching my kids' teams, started seeing that the kids started gravitating towards me and my family because we was all active and doing different things. So doing that, then just started progressing. Um, During the pandemic, individual reached out to me. He was like, Dr. Larry White, actually, out of the DMV area, said we putting this compilation of authors together. You got a good story. Let's share that story. Boom, put that out. Then I got introduced to radio. It was like, hey, we got a opening on this radio spot. You got a good story. You got a good background. Let's get you on radio. From there, I just started progressing, learning, understanding, meeting people like yourself, and just progress to where I am, which is Brick City. Have the Brick City show, community-based show for you guys who in the community. Um, Basically, want to promote businesses, authors, community health, anything to help the community. I'm all about it. Autism, anything for the community. That's what I'm about. And as you can see, you can follow me on all platforms: Brick City, the Brick City Show, or the Real Charlemagne, in professional world, Charlemagne Mccarter. And like I said, once again, Pryor, I appreciate you allowing me on your platforms. That's a blessing.
No doubt, no doubt. I wanted to introduce you to the audience and to Black LinkedIn. I appreciate that you are available and you're doing stuff like mental health and mental wellness conversations online. We know that, particularly, I would say, Black veterans and specifically have historically not received the medical and mental health attention that they may need. I did want to
Right.
talk for a few minutes about, I think, something when I first met you. You talked about, I thought it was really interesting, the possibility that you hadn't seen yourself as someone that should receive disability before you get discharged, before you were, discharged. And so, can you tell us a little about that story of the person that came up to you and said, "Hey, you don't leave without
Yeah.
applying."
Yeah. So I was in Fort Bragg. Um, in the process of getting discharged, medical discharge after 9/11. Um, when an individual came up to me, who was just chit chatting, he was like, what you got going on, such, he was an old vet, retired. It's like, I'm about to get discharged, and he was like, you got all your paperwork straight? I'm like, yeah, I'm doing my clearing and I'm doing he was like, your paperwork. Like, what paperwork? He said, to try to help you and your family in the future. He was like, whatever you do, don't leave here without doing your paperwork. And he took me to the office, and it was a veteran administration office. Went over there, spoke with an individual, and then, like you said, just to get that ball rolling, for a lot of vets before you get out of the military is definitely beneficial to you because you're already documented in the system. And what I seen after that, it was harder for vets to maneuver in the system once they were out. And it was like you said, for me, once I got plugged in, started using the VA for my medical care, everything day one after I got out of the military. And a lot of people like, well, I don't want to go to the VA and this and the other. It was kind of rough in the beginning, but now it's like they outsource so much stuff now. It's like you go to there's your counterparts that work in the civilian world, with the best doctors and everything. So that was important for me and my family because as time progressed, my kids was able to go to school for free. My house was able to go to school. It was just a whole lot of other benefits that I didn't know that would come along. That if I hadn't had that conversation, they couldn't have taken advantage of it. And my son, look, I'm repping his shirt now. His story is he got a full scholarship in football. He never used the benefits. However, he got to Ohio, got into corporate America. He ain't like it. So then he was like, I want to go back and I want to go back to school. Boom, he had an opportunity using Veterans Administration benefits to get his barber's license. He's a successful barber in Charlotte, North Carolina.
That's what's up. That's
but
what's up. That
but yeah, and like I said, I'm an advocate for vets, man, and especially I want to catch the young soldiers. I mean, I definitely help the older ones, but the young ones that's about to get out and they don't have a plan, I'm like, yo, just file. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more than just people just think about disability. It's your home benefits, your education benefits, life. Your life insurance benefits that some of those things you don't want to lose because as soon as you get out, that clock starts ticking, and you start losing stuff every couple of years. You lose something different, so you definitely want to stay abreast of what's going on.
can you tell everybody what made you decide to do Brick City show there on the radio station there, and now where you are?
You said what now?
Can you tell everybody what made you decide to do Brick City show and
Oh
tell
yeah.
everybody on the radio station what led to that, and also
The brick.
where can people find you at right now?
Okay. Yeah. Brick City show. Um, ugh, it was something that it was kind of just tossed at me. And at first I was like, I don't want to be on radio, man. I'm just a regular Joe. I just want to lay low. And Tiffany hit me is like sometimes it's not about me. It's about helping others. And everybody doesn't have a voice. I got to take care of me and myself and my family, but everybody don't have the resources that I have, the seeking, of the knowledge that I have. So a young lady, she saw me in the community doing things, introduced me to a radio station out of Charlotte, internet-based radio, unfamiliar territory, So I was like, you know what? Let me jump in on this, and I did, and It was good, and BRIC stands for Building Rich, Intelligent Culture. Keep it simple. And basically, I just want to build our culture and build different things, keeping it simple because everybody don't have that $1 million budget. Everybody don't have the 6 figure budget. You know what I mean? So just putting things out there that people like they could come for and just share their businesses, share some things that they went through. Um, like I said, you can reach me at on Instagram, the real Charlemagne McCarter. Uh, Instagram, I have Brick City Show Instagram page as well. Clubhouse, the real Charlemagne. Facebook, Brick City Show fan page. YouTube, Brick City Show. Brick City Show. You type in that anywhere, you should be able to find me. And reach out to me. Just like Pride now, we met on Clubhouse, and we connected what 4 or 5 months ago, and still rocking till today. It's just like I'm all about
Feels like
building and
almost
building with
here.
positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just building with positive people, man. That's just my nature.
Well, we're happy to have
Yeah,
you
and
as
that goes
part of
back.
our
That
community.
goes back to home. It goes back to home, and then it started home, but then when you go to the military, that's another culture within itself because everybody comes from different walks of life. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we all understand racism. You can't hide from it. However, sometimes people put stuff on the shelf when it comes to life or death. You know what I'm saying? So,
As they should, right? Because they want to live.
yeah,
So
it looks a little bit different in the military, even though we know some things still exist. Some things to put on the shelf in certain situations when your life is dependent on it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a different culture, but I appreciate you trying to jump into helping vets as well using these platforms, and that's why I'm down for the cause. You know, because it's a whole population. I tell people all the time, we get discriminated twice. You get discriminated against because you're African American. Then you get the double discrimination because you're a veteran. And people don't realize how much, people discuss, oh, y'all get everything, this, and the other. Yeah, and we get discriminated against a lot too because we are veterans. And the first thing that they think about, PTSD. You
right.
guys are trained, most of us, like you said, trained for combat. So therefore, that's a whole nother spectrum that people think about. Like these people know how to get rid of people. That's what they did for a living. You know what I'm saying? So they pause and like, I don't know if I want these type of people in my corporation. You know what I'm saying? It's getting more open there because more veterans are getting moving up into higher positions in corporate America. But then sometimes it's like we we come at each other. Some
Yeah.
veterans they like, well, because you got the Army, you got the Navy, you got all different branches of the military, Coast Guard. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't even know Coast Guard is a part of the military.
Have you seen? By the way, have you seen that TikTok? I think it was that it said this is what the military morning workout looks like.
Oh no, I haven't seen that one.
I gotta share that one. They have everybody working out hard, and then they got to the Air Force, and the Air Force is on the beach doing doing calisthenics on the beach like this. The Coast Guard's in the
Hey yo,
water. They're doing
yeah,
backflips and stuff. The Army is out there on the pavement. The Marines, but
yeah.
they got they got the Air Force just chilling on the
Hey yo,
beach doing
like
baseball
real
stuff.
story, man, real story. We was flying out of Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, right? And
Wow.
we was going to, I think we was going to either Yuma, Arizona or 29 Palms. I can't remember. But we flew out of Air Force Base and they fed us breakfast before we left. And we got up. In the Army, they don't play. You don't leave no trash. You don't leave nothing on the table, right? If you leave a crumb on the table, you better pick that junk up. So We get up, we looking around for the trash can, right? Nowhere to be found. We see these
Good.
little jokers walking around in little white suits, picking up our trays. And we like, oh, y'all just leave your trays on the table and just leave. And I first saw it, he was like, y'all ain't leaving S around here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't leaving nothing on this table. And then the manager came out and was like, no, this is how we do it here. You can't tell
Right.
us how to do stuff. And at that point, I was like, I think I signed up for the wrong thing. You know,
For real,
like
for
I was like,
real.
man. But
Yeah,
yeah,
they
man,
got it good.
I enjoy my stint, man. I can't, I wouldn't change it for the world. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, like I said, me being a vet, my daughter is actually serving right now in the Navy.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have a child in the Navy. You know, we had this conversation prior to her going in. You know, what branches would better suit her. You know, as a soldier. You know, and that's a conversation I feel parents should have with their child when they are thinking about going to the military. Do your research. Um, you know, straight up Army and the Marines is some jobs going to translate to the civilian world. Most jobs not. Just straight up. I was in artillery. Nothing out here to blow up nothing unless you're in demolition. And then, like I said, that's a whole nother MOS is demolition. So, you know, I was just trained to do artillery. So I ain't no jobs out here for that. You know what I'm saying? I got some college credit for math and leadership, things like that, but that's it. You know what I'm saying? So your child just doing it just to get schooling or whatever, yeah, shoot for the Air Force and the Navy, you know, because more tech things. They're more on the technical side, not in the physical side. So so
Gotcha.
definitely push for those two branches if your child is more looking techie, translating back to the civilian life, you know, things of that nature. I had a cousin of mine. He his son got MOS combat engineer for the army. They was all excited because you hear engineer, you just think, oh, this is awesome. This is
Science.
great.
Go
Yeah.
build something. But it
I
said
said
combat before though. Before it said combat.
combat engineer. And I said, you do realize your child is a glorified grunt, is a glorified infantryman, because they're going there before anybody gets there to help structure roads, bridges, anything. And they're going to, I mean, even though they're going to have, you know, forward observers around them, protecting them at some point, they're going to still
Yeah,
engage.
they target practice.
They're going to still get engaged because
Right.
if you're going to a foreign soil and trying to build things, do things, the enemy is trying to knock it down as fast as you build it.
Yep.
So what I explained to him was like, no, I didn't want to recruit. I was like, fam, this is what your child's about to experience. And then first thing he got in, he went straight to Fort Drum, 10th Mountain, infantry, you know, infantry unit. You know, so yeah, like I said, just people out there do your research, you know, before you go in.
Well, now that we
And
have you as part of our community, we now that
yeah,
we know
yeah,
that you exist, we can send people to you, to some of the other
yeah.
veterans that we're going to be interviewing, and we really want to make sure that we. I guess I hadn't thought about this just now, and I appreciate you giving me the space to be able to interview you and talk to you because something just came to me that I hadn't thought about, which is that I guess I am really trying my best to connect communities. So
Hmm.
I saw, your story and the other sister story on Clubhouse about you veterans and what you were going through when you came back home, and also that you were able to get disability at 100%. And that connected, that resonated with me personally. That wow, when I hear somebody can traverse or they can travel through a challenge, and they're acknowledging the challenge, they're acknowledging the travel. So the road was difficult, bumps, hills,
Yeah.
but they made it to the other side. So they saw, I need to go this direction. It's not going to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go this direction. I can follow directions, and I can get
Right.
to the other side. So when I hear that, that's a ding, ding, ding for me to go, oh, this person is somebody I want to be around. This person is someone
Mm-hmm.
that resonates with me. But I didn't thought about till you just said what you said about your family and the advice you gave as far as for parents. I'm realizing that one of my goals is to connect the Black community, or maybe reconnect
Mm-hmm.
generally with this segment of our community that I feel like, even though we may surround you with respect and say thank you for your service, I don't think that I don't think that sorry about that. I don't think that
That's fine.
we have connected the dots. So you just
Right.
said
Right.
parents check and make sure. And so I
Yeah.
think that what happens is that we think of you on Memorial Day, we think of veterans,
Right.
Veterans Day,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
about it. To be honest, that's what I feel. So
Yeah.
my goal is to definitely connect us and make sure that the
Right.
community is connected. Um,
And and this is what I want to add to that as well. Because you tend to have, our culture, military is generally a last resort. Um, and it's a resort that's doable. You know what I'm saying? But I said get everything out of it that you could get out of it. Go to school while you in. Do everything that you could get out of it because they're gonna get everything they could get out of you.
Absolutely right.
Now, in the
I'm
flip side
saying
of
you gotta repeat that slowly.
it,
Repeat
I
that
said
again
get
slowly.
everything that you could get out of it. Yeah, that you could get out of the military. Get everything that you could get out of it because they're going to get everything that they could get out of you. And that's real. They're going to push you to the limit, push you, things that you're not even capable of. You didn't even know you was capable of doing. But they're going to get it out of you, or you're not going to last long.
No,
But what I was
that's
saying about
facts.
the coaches that I did bump into, which was kind of ironic with the minority soldiers versus some of the counterparts, the Caucasian soldiers. Some of them they had to come in because their great grandfather was in the military. Their great grandfather was, served in the Civil War. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a family culture. In order to receive certain things later, as far as inheritance and things of that nature, they had to do their time in service in the military. And like I said, it was like, you're like, yo, your family owned what? This? You like, what in the? But why are you in the military? But then they explain it ain't about the money. It's about our
The
family
honor.
history. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
the tradition.
Yeah, the honor. And that's why I said it's like you get into the military and then you understand. It's like wow. And look, I'm gonna tell you a fun fact. I was stationed with a well-known rapper that had went to the military.
Wow.
He was very popular in the 90s. And like I said, it's public knowledge. Mr. Funky, Lost in Underground.
Oh wow. I didn't know that.
He was in Army. He was a 54 Bravo. He was stationed out in Lawton, Oklahoma, early 2000s. And I was stationed with him. We was the same battalion, first and 17. I was in service. He was in Alphabet. Yeah, it's crazy. But like you said,
Do you think that and looking at your daughter's generation, do you think that we as a community have lost some of that, or maybe we never had it, the honor, because we just because we I felt like, especially in the '60s and '70s, you know,
Right.
the draft was one situation, but after
Right.
the draft, '70s, '80s, and '90s, I feel like we we don't the black community doesn't really hold high the military. We hold high the fact that you went to the military, but
Right.
we don't necessarily hold high the military itself.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said a few minutes ago, the military is usually out for us. It's like
Right,
the
right,
final out, or you know, you're trying to figure yourself out. You're
right,
trying to
right.
figure out what I'm going to do, or there's nothing else to do, so go to the military. You
Exactly.
know, um, my daughter situation was a little different. She was a baller. She was a basketball player. She
Oh
played,
wow.
ran track. Um, Great athlete, but hated school. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
She was to the point. She was like, I don't want to go to college. You know what I'm saying? But not realizing she gonna have to study and take tests when she got to the Navy. But it wasn't as intensive as college. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a little bit different type of schooling because they don't want anybody to fail in the military. They want you to keep progressing because they
They
constantly
want to wring
recruiting
you
every
out.
day.
They want
Yeah,
to
they
wring everything
constantly.
out of you.
But like I said, it's a constant shift daily. That's why recruiters they never off, and that's the most. Look, a lot of guys that I know been on the recruiting trail is like that's one of the most stressful jobs in the military is being a recruiter because you're constantly hearing no doors and doors slammed in your face, phones hung up on you consistently. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
so I couldn't imagine being a recruiter. I wouldn't even have thought of that job. I like my recruiter said I was the easy one. I walked into the station and said, "Hey, I want to go to the army," and he was like, "Let's go." When you want to leave, I said ASAP.
right. Oh wow.
It's a few rare cases of people like myself, but for the most part, man, it's that recruiting job, man. I couldn't have did that.
Yeah, well, I think that this conversation I'm looking forward to having is a layered conversation. It's
Oh yeah,
a bunch of layers to it. I'm glad this is our first conversation. I want people to definitely follow you, follow Charlemagne Mccarter on every platform. Then follow Bricks with an S City
hmm
Show, and the URL you can go to is Bitly, a Bitly link, bit.ly Bricks City Show, all one word. And you will come to Charlemagne's video podcast, his content there. It all lives right there. So I'm looking forward to as we progress and have these intentional conversations about military life, about veterans, about mental health, about black men, and what we need
right.
to be doing as black men in our community, about North Carolina, because I'm looking forward to keeping me abreast of what's happening down there.
Yeah.
I have a cousin that still lives in North. Well, I have three cousins that live in North Carolina. Actually, I'm saying.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I'm looking forward to these further conversations. And I think it's a
Oh,
good start.
definitely.
Um,
Oh yeah, definitely. And I appreciate you allowing me, man, because like I said, we gotta, and I feel this is one thing that's lacking in our community, period. Collaboration. We gotta learn to collaborate.
yeah, yeah. I don't
I
think
mean,
I've ever heard
because
that word.
it's like, and that's the thing. It's like, we was discussing some things and it's like, no, bro, I want you to have your own. You can follow this path, but I want you to have your own. And like I
Yep.
said, sometimes it's not about who gets there first. It's about who's laying that path for you. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes in our culture, we don't want to wait. We feel like we're supposed to be right there beside you. When you open the door, we're gonna walk in together. But the door is only so
Just like
wide.
that. Yeah.
The door is only so wide. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
let me get in the door first. If you go in the door first, fine. You know what I'm saying? And like, and I just like, this collaboration, man. Just I love it, because everyone else does it but us.
Well, I
even
think
if
that
even if it's behind the scenes.
I didn't know that you felt that way. I'm glad you do, because I definitely think that there's a lot of opportunity for collaboration. It's something I believe in.
Exactly.
Here in Philly, I'm a part of a group of news outlets that intentionally collaborate. So that's in my DNA from a
Right.
journalist side, but it's also I lived in 6 cities, and every city you live in has a certain personality. So I
Exactly.
expected I had not lived in Philadelphia. I came here from Atlanta, but I had grew up across the river in Jersey, and
Hmm.
my aunt would keep me in the summers. Either I go to North Carolina or go to Camden, and Camden was
Hmm.
really the hood. And so, but she would say, if you're bad, I'm gonna take you over to Philly. So,
Mm.
and I
Right.
would be scared. So that's how
Right.
Philly
Right.
had
Right.
that type of reputation. So,
Yeah.
but when I got here, one thing I realized about Philadelphia, or even Philadelphians, that this is one of those cities where you can meet somebody at the diner or shit on the train, and y'all
Hmm.
find out y'all have a similar interest in something. The
Wow.
Philadelphian will collaborate with you on some just GP, like not having known you, not having. This is the only city I've been in where black people have just been able to. I've been able to talk to them one meeting,
Right.
not an email, text, and a call, then one meeting, and they
Wow.
say yes or no. Um,
Yeah.
they either feel it or they don't. But
Yeah.
New York, it's a lot of hype. You go meeting after
Right.
meeting, and then you get a little ways. Atlanta
Yeah.
is complete BS. So,
Yeah.
I mean, not all
I've
Atlanta. Shout out to
I've heard
my
that
people.
several times, man. I heard that numerous times about that. And
Yeah, the people that's
I
not
know.
from Atlanta, and the people that's lived in Atlanta for all their life, that's good. It's the middle folks that keep effing it up, the
Right.
transplants and everything, But yeah, so I'm with you 100% about black collaboration needs to happen,
Yeah.
needs to be intentional, and
Yeah.
that's really what I want to leave this planet with. That he collaborated and he connected. So that's
Right.
this has been an excellent conversation, man. I appreciate you, and we're gonna do
Appreciate
this
you, man.
try to do this every week. So y'all stay
Okay.
tuned. Go ahead, follow brother Charlemagne. Um, and try to always figure out where I'm pointing at. Yeah, pointing this way. No, this way. That way.
Yeah.
But yeah, follow Charlemagne on all socials. Charlemagne Mccarter on IG. Bricks City, Bricks with an S City Show on IG, and also the Bitly link is bit.ly / Bricks City Show, all one word, for all his content. We'll stay tuned with y'all and stay black, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace. Thanks for having me.